Hello everyone, welcome you all for this episode of Startup Stories. My name is Gunashekar and I'm a startup coach and the author of the book Startup Recipe. So in this series of startup stories, we are actually listening to, watching to a lot of startup stories of successful entrepreneurs. And today I have my friend Suresh Radhakrishnan who is going to share his story in this episode with us. And he's a B electronics and communication graduate, and after that he worked in IT industry for almost 4 years, and then he started his entrepreneur journey and has got rich experience in training, hospitality and food and beverage industry. With the experience, in 2016, he started his own brand of tea outlets called Chai Kant, which has got 16 outlets in Tamil Nadu right now, and more than 7 outlets are coming up in the next few months. And he's with us today. Welcome, Suresh, for this episode of Startup Stories.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation, Guna. Pleasure to be here to have an
Thank you.
interview with
Thank you.
you on startup stories. Wonderful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. The reason why I do this is because a lot of people think a startup is something where they should have something from their birth and they can't suddenly become an entrepreneur. They should have something in the family background. They should have some skills, etc. They think a lot of things and they suppress themselves that they could not become an entrepreneur. But
Great.
this story is an example where everybody started very small and today they've achieved something big. And you are one example. So, like you, I'm actually bringing a lot of people in this episode, and that's what we are doing even today.
Wonderful.
So the first thing which I want to ask you is, you finished your studies, which is BE, and then you went into IT industry for 4 years. And suddenly, what made you to start an entrepreneurship journey? Because those days, IT industry was a very attractive industry. There was good pay packages, and people don't want to leave IT industry because it is not like now. I
Correct.
think the time you were working in was
It was
something
on the
like
peak.
it
Yes.
was a boom. Yeah, it was a peak. So, what made you to leave that and start your own entrepreneurship journey? So, how did you become an entrepreneur?
Great. So when I actually started my career, my native is Pollachi. So when I came down to Chennai, my dream that time was to work for 10 years and then earn some money, go back to native, and then start an experiential learning school wherein you will find lab and classroom in the same setup. So that that's sort of something that I felt there is a gap. So whatever you study, you need to be able to practice it at the same time. So that's the dream that I had. But then after coming to Chennai and started working, things became monotonous. So I never felt that I would want to leave the job in the next 6 months after I joined. So things started getting so monotonous, and somewhere or the other, I felt this is not my purpose. This is not the reason for being, here. So that's when I started reading a lot of books. So I never read any of the books except one of the Shivakera's books in college. So apart from that, I never used to read any books. But after coming down to Chennai, then I started reading a lot of business related magazines, autobiographies of successful entrepreneurs. So that's when I thought. Prior to that, I used to think business is just about making money. And after I started reading a lot of these books, I realized business is not just about making money. Business is about creating temporary wealth for yourself and for others. So it's all about impact. So I always look at impact, after that. So in terms of employment or in terms of creating entrepreneurs. So impact is something I believe that time. That's the reason for being. So that's when I decided I want to be an entrepreneur.
Superb, superb. So obviously, when we become an entrepreneur, through us, many lives are going to be changed because we have a lot of employees and their family members and a lot of vendors. And one entrepreneur can give opportunity to a lot of people. So that
Exactly.
definitely works.
Exactly.
In
So one
I,
simple calculation that I thought
yeah,
that time, let's say you give employment to 100 people. So let's say if there are 4 people in a family, so you directly feed 400 people,
correct,
every month. So
correct,
that's something phenomenal, right? So you can't do that in any other,
correct,
in economic, that sort of economic impact can happen only in business. So that's
correct.
something I thought I should, I never felt that after that it is not about making money, it is about creating impact. Once you follow value, money will follow. So that's something, it's an eye
Very
opener for me that time. Yeah.
Very true. I strongly believe that because that's the reason why I created a vision for myself of creating 10,000 entrepreneurs by 2030. Because I
Wonderful.
think when we have more entrepreneurs, all the problems will be solved.
Exactly.
And they just need the right guidance. That's what they're looking for.
Exactly.
And you said you started with just 4 years of experience. And when you started entrepreneurship, it is nothing to do with what experience you got in your working career.
Correct.
So, which means you would have done some mistakes in the initial phase, which actually helped you to learn further and then grow your business. So, what were the initial mistakes you did so that people who are watching this show, the aspiring entrepreneurs, can avoid those kind of mistakes?
So mistakes, I would say I've done a lot of mistakes. I've gone through a lot of failures, a lot of challenges. See, I always take this route: do it and then learn it. Rather than keep learning at the back end through books or through videos. It's not going to help until unless you don't get your hands dirty. You will never learn. So, but then I somehow felt after a while that you need to do proper homework. You need to do proper groundwork before you do something. So, the initial business that I launched, the first business in the training industry, and then eventually into hospitality. I never felt the business model has to be unique. So business model, if you ask me in simple terms, is very simple. Now, what product or service that you're trying to offer, to whom are you trying to sell that product or service, and at what price point you want to sell that product or service. So if you're clear about these three things, a lot of times we feel, it's everything for everybody. Okay, I have a product, everybody will be my customer. So
I see that. I see that with a lot of entrepreneurs. When I ever ask who is your target market, they say everybody will buy my product, and I say, then you're not selling to anyone.
correct, correct, correct. So when I started this training company, the first initial failure, we were doing good. We were doing good profits in the first 3 years, but then things started changing. If you're not concentrating on something innovative, if you're not doing something unique, then you will get lost in the market.
Correct.
So, but maybe for a while, maybe for in short term you'll make money, but in the long term, your business will not be sustainable. So that's one important lesson that I learned. So your business model has to be unique and it has to be scalable. So, and after that, I started networking. Prior to that, I never had the right connects in the industry. So
Okay.
you need to meet right people at the right time. So business is all about contacts. So I understood after failing multiple times, when you meet a lot of people, you get a lot of exposure.
Okay.
They will tell you what, um, are you on the right track or not,
Correct.
or are you deviating somewhere, or whether your business model is exciting or not. So in that case, I crazily attended a lot of events. I would have attended at least 100 events. um, you know Whatever that comes with respect to startups entrepreneurship, I used to go attend. So that sort of learning happens. you know uh, Continuously you keep failing, then you become stronger. So that's one strong failure that I would always tell people who want to be entrepreneurs: make sure that your business model is unique. So that's with respect to first business. And with respect to when we failed in the first venture, we had about 40 lakhs debt. uh, you know uh, the biggest mistake that we did was we used to acquire unstructured loans from people for
Okay.
interest. So people watching this, if you want to get into business, don't get unstructured loans. Even a personal loan is fine, because you will pay EMI along with um, interest. I mean, a principal along with interest. But if you get an unstructured loan, you will only keep paying interest. You will never be able to pay principal at all.
Correct.
So that's one important learning. I understood that money is the last problem to solve. So if you have a great idea, if you have a strong execution capability, and money will follow. Now you have a lot of options, even in banks and investment.
Even
Forum.
MSME loans are like very easily accessible now. Yeah.
Correct, correct. And you have a lot of angel investors, venture capitalists. So that's when I learned all of these things when I started networking. I attended the startup leadership fellowship program. So that's when I got a lot of contacts in the startup um, circle, I would say, with respect to a lot of upcoming funded startups and things like that. That's when I understood funding and things like that, business model, every stage of getting into the business. So when I started Chaikan, the initial business model was different. I was very clear that business model has to be unique. So we did try different business models. So once you try different business models, then failures will definitely come.
Correct.
One thing I had in mind is fail fast, learn fast. So anyways, you will not succeed without failing. That
Correct.
for sure. I was well aware. I was mindful that yes, failures are going to come. But one important learning is fail fast, learn fast. In the first few years of running the business, you have to fail multiple times. You have to fail multiple times, meaning you have to take a lot of initiatives. If you take a lot of initiatives, of course, definitely you will have to go through a lot of failures. So in the first 1.5 years, it was very hard. Setting the right business model was a very challenging thing.
Okay.
And then we got it right, and rest is the scenario now. So these three key points that I would tell, if you want to start, then you need to focus on these three key points. Yes.
Super, super. Thank you. And with your experience in training industry and with your experience in Chaikand for the last 4.5 years, you also started educating people with your online courses, online videos. Like you started something recently where people who want to learn how to start a tea outlet business, how to start a food and beverage business, they can learn actually from. Can you just share a few things about that?
Definitely, definitely. See, I always believe that um, impact through entrepreneurship is something phenomenal. So I created a brand. I don't want to go take the funding route, because funding route is more on building your own outlets and then scaling up. My philosophy is to create more entrepreneurs. So that's the reason I chose the franchise route. So when lockdown started, 1 week I didn't know what to do. Uh, I had good experience in the training thing, but I never know the power of digital courses, digital training programs. In a way, I would say thanks to pandemic, because that's a wonderful opportunity to connect with a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs in this space. And my circle has broadened, and my vision has become bigger again. So that's when I thought, why don't we help people in help them in setting their businesses,
Correct.
right? Need not be through Chaikant franchise. Let them have run their own brands. So
Correct.
I decided I need to focus on food, because when you look at, there is no ecosystem for food entrepreneurs. You take healthcare, IT, or any of the other domains, you have a lot of support system, a lot of forums to help aspiring entrepreneurs. So this was more of a personal problem for me. So when I wanted to start, I had people like biggies, like a lot of brands in the industry, and not everybody are open enough to share their learnings,
Correct.
you know uh, with respect to the current trend. So and these people are previous generation guys, and they're not easily approachable to learn
Correct.
things. So that's one gap that I found out, and there are a lot of people who wanted to start something in the food space. So that's when I decided, let's launch digital courses for food entrepreneurs. So that's the niche I identified. So now there are close to 300 people in the community. Multiple brands have been launched. So I offer programs on setting up a general food business is one module, and QSR, cloud kitchen is one module, and the recent focus is on tea outlets.
The outlets.
One finder, I thought, why don't we help people in setting up their own tea outlets? That's the strength. That's the strength that I have, and I've done that in the last 4 years. And I'm someone, I always believe that uh, let people not repeat the same mistakes which I have done.
Obviously, yes.
You can do another mistake and then learn from it. But I have done this mistake. I've got this learning. I've got this database. I'm putting it in a plate and then giving it to you. Please have it. Let you not go start from scratch and go through the same failure. So a lot of people ask me, are you not creating competition around? If you tell people you learn the hard way, 4 years of investing money, time, effort, and everything. But I always tell them, knowledge gets doubled when you share it.
Correct.
And my purpose is to create a lot of entrepreneurs, be it my own franchise system or through my digital course
Correct.
module. So let it create more impact. So my vision, as you said, is similar as you. I want to create 10,000 successful food entrepreneurs in this space. So that's something that I'm doing. There are a lot of I'm really happy that pandemic has happened. So a lot of
Yes.
people might feel, what is this negative thing this guy is talking about? But I tell,
I would also say, like, a lot of people are saying that Corona is good because that give a lot of shift. though it is in a way it affected many businesses, etc., we also have a lot of positive things on the other side to look at and to make use of it.
Correct.
So very good that you are also helping. And for all the people who are watching, if you are keen in learning about setting up your own tea outlet, whether you want to learn and you want to set it up in your own brand, or whether you want to associate with Chaikan, and for both of these necessities, Suresh is the go-to person, because I know him from the beginning of this journey, and I know how he evolved and what are the different mistakes, challenges, and he saw the great market changes in the last 4 years than anybody else, because the previous 4 years or the previous 10 years is not the same. So you can actually learn a lot from Suresh. And Suresh telling that about the last 4 years, we had so many things in Chennai, especially. And what kind of challenges you had with your business of Chaikan from 2016 to 2020? You would have had a lot, but if you have to mention, these are some big challenges which I overcome, etc. You can just share about it.
Definitely, definitely. So, the first thing is getting the right business model in this business. So, when we launched with a retail and corporate tea delivery model where it is completely unorganized. The corporate tea delivery, wherein people go deliver tea and coffee to offices morning and evening. So, we sort of tried organizing that particular segment. So, that's when we scaled to 3 outlets. The first 3 outlets were in this model. So, we were doing that for 1.5 years, but we were facing a lot of problems with respect to payments. Corporates usually take more than 40, 45 to 60 days of payment cycle. And on one side, we used to acquire clients. On the other side, we used to lose clients, because the problem that we are trying to solve, I always tell this, entrepreneurs are problem solvers. So if you have a strong problem to solve, then you have a strong, bigger opportunity. So you need to find, if that is a huge problem to solve, actually. So we found that's a huge problem to solve, but some way or the other, customer didn't feel the value of the problem. Let's say we were offering refined sugars and no artificial ingredients, tea powders, RO water, sulfur free sugar, and everything is measured and prepared. It's like, see, I come from an engineering background, so sort of it's all measured and prepared. I got all of these tools because once you come from as an outsider to an industry, so you'll think out of the box. So that's what happened to me. So when I've never run a tea shop. I never know people who run tea shops. I've never run a hotel. I'm completely new to food business. Somewhere that I had experience in hospitality, but that was altogether a different ball game. So that's when I realized this business model is not scaling up. So here comes the old lesson: fail fast, learn fast. So I decided something is not working. It is not working. So in the last business, I used to take a lot of emotional decisions,
Okay.
because in India, failures are not celebrated. And once you fail, people always relate you with failure. People will say, you
Yeah.
have failed. And
Yeah.
I told myself when I failed, I have not failed. My business have failed. Right? So that's two different dimensions. So uh, that's when I decided I need to take business calls, business decisions, and not emotion decisions. So what is good for the company may not be good for your in-laws, or may not be good for your family or for your wife or your husband, right? So I decided, okay, let's shut down all the 3 outlets. So that was a huge call, because already there was a debt of 40 lakhs in the previous venture and another 25 lakhs in this venture. I didn't have a co-founder. I didn't have money backup. I was bankrupt. Again, the second time I went bankrupt. I never had a team. When you ask me, what are all the parameters that are required for success? I didn't have any of these things,
Okay.
but I had one thing: the burning desire to make it big, right? So once you have a strong, compelling idea, a strong execution capability, then you need to get it going. So people are watching. You wanted to start something in the space. Uh, Here is the secret, I would say. So miracles do happen, but only when you believe in miracles. From there, from there, 15 months, 24 months, I decided that day I should open 10 outlets in the next 1 year. I would require at least 1.3 crores to set up 10 outlets. I would require a co-founder. I would require a solid team, execution team. I started selling my story to every single prospective investor. I started selling my story to prospective co-founders. I got each one of them in the first 2.5 months. Opened our first outlet in 3 months. Our target was 10 outlets, but we didn't open 10 outlets in the first year. We opened only 3 outlets. But in the second year, we reached 15 outlets. So uh, this is something, I shared the success as well. But then the very important lesson here is, you need to have that perseverance. You need to put your heart and soul into it. So failures will come, business scenarios will change. There'll be a lot of, once you get covered in peer, a lot of media. I would have at least got covered in not less than 30 media houses, be it digital or print or YouTube, television. There's a lot of media that got covered. So a lot of people jumped into the space. So I always believe that a lot of competition has to be there. Only when competition is there, you altogether educate the sector, right? But then a lot of people came in. Some people are doing good, some people are not. They were collapsing and things like this. So all of these psychological things you need to handle, right? So people might move fast, but you need to know the fundamentals of this business, right? Be it selecting a location. We faced a lot of things. We miserably failed in a lot of aspects. We didn't know how to select a location. Now, if there is a Chaikant franchise, I'm there at the back end to tell them, okay, these are all the parameters that you need to look at before you select a location, because location is the key.
Yeah.
And what sort of rental you
Going to
need to
be
pay.
retail, and obviously the location is plays a
Correct.
crucial role. Yeah.
Correct. So what sort of rentals you need to pay? What is the rental advance that you can maximum pay? What is it? What is the budget you need to set for interior? And how you need to train your manpower? It's a no team master concept. We don't have any team masters at all. So that's if one thing that we would take credit is that part. We have created a system where there are no team masters. 75 people are working with us. There is not even a single team master with experience in this field. So
It's
it's
all by
all about
preparation.
systems.
It's just preparators whoever can do in the outlet. Okay.
Exactly. In less than 2 days, you can become a tea master when you come to Chaikant. So that sort of system we created after doing a lot of mistakes, a lot of R&D. Because the moment we think, okay, some competitor is doing something, why don't we replicate the same thing again in our model? It's not going to work for a long term, right? So we are the first brand to do live brew, live preparation of all the varieties, close to 17 varieties of hot beverages we do. So we did a groundwork for almost 1.5 years trying to crack that model. How can we prepare tea in less than a minute? So that's the challenge that we had, because we have so many flavors. You go to a normal tea shop, you will not find more than 1 or 2 flavors.
Correct.
Having 17 flavors without compromising on quality of service and quality consistency, it's a challenge for us. So we somehow cracked that in the initial stage. So all of these failures and challenges, it keeps coming. We keep solving that, then it becomes a solution. So these are all the learnings that I would say with respect to Chaikant. Yes.
Okay, I think for somebody who wants to start right now, it is a long journey if they want to learn by themselves. But I would like to ask you if you have to give one or two tips for aspiring entrepreneurs who want to open business in this particular industry, like say the same kind of a tea outlet or a small QSR, whatever it is. What would it be? What will be your tip or suggestion or advice for all those people?
Sure. So if you ask me, if you wanted to get into retail, if not with, let's say, there are other models like cloud kitchen, home baking, there are a lot of other models, but specific to retail, the first priority thing is location. So get the location right. You'll get most of the things right. So that's one. And there are 4 parameters that I would strongly tell people to focus on if you want to get into the food space. It's called TWCQ framework. So that framework I teach in my digital course. So whatever failures, learnings that I've got, I've converted that into a course. They can complete in 20 days time. They can launch their outlet business in just less than 30 days once they complete this. As I told you, it's like preparing everything. The food is prepared. It's on the plate. You can have it on the go. So that's something that we have done. So TWCQ framework is taste, waste, consistency, quality. So if you can master these 4 parameters in food business, you can build a sustainable business model. You can be a successful food entrepreneur. So taste, you need to make sure that you offer the same taste across 365 days. So how you could do that? Have systems and process in place. Make sure that you have strong training content to train your staff. Wastage. So food wastage will kill your margins. A lot of people think food has got exorbitant margins. From the industry, I would tell you margins are between 15 to 25% depending on your model. So it's not more than that. If you feel you can look at it as a passive income opportunity, this is not for you. So you have to put your heart and soul into it, and also your legs and hands into it. So only when you put your hard work, you will be able to succeed. So it's not about, a lot of people get into fancy ideas. They just go to a restaurant, see the crowd. They just go to a tea outlet, they see the crowd. Okay, wow, it's a wonderful opportunity to get in. Yes, of course, it's a wonderful opportunity, but there are a lot of things that you need to look at before you launch. The second parameter that I told is wastage. So make sure that you control your wastage. Either it could be zero or less wastage. So the first thing that I decided when I wanted to start something in the food space, I need to select a model which has zero wastage, which can which where zero wastage can be achieved. Because I faced this issue when I was running the resort
Okay.
hospitality industry. So that's one. So you need to have menu, design the menu, design items based on this parameter. Third, consistency. So, offering the same consistent product all through the year is always better than offering an extraordinary product on one day and an average product on the other day. The customers will get disappointed. So you offer the same taste, even if it's not a great taste, a better taste, offer a consistent product at all times. Fourth, quality. So quality is something, it starts right from sourcing your ingredients. If you source quality ingredients, quality product will come. So never compromise on quality. You can charge extra to the customer, but quality should never be compromised. So four parameters, TWCQ framework. So this is
Super.
one thing that I would tell all the food
Thank
entrepreneurs.
you, thank
Yes.
you. And my favorite is W, which is waste, because I have discussion with a lot of people who own restaurants, etc. They actually didn't monitor this waste for the initial few months, and then they realized that that's where all the profits are going in.
Exactly.
You put it right, yes, it will eat up a lot of margins. So
Exactly.
you shared some tips, some suggestions for people who want to come into the food space or tea outlets. But being an entrepreneur for many years now, I also want you to give some tips or advice or suggestions for people who want to start business in any industry for that matter. They want to become an entrepreneur. That's what they want to become. For them, one or two advice or tip, if you have to give, what will you be?
Sure. So, if you ask me, the first thing, a lot of people wanted to get into business, but they don't want to compromise on their lifestyle. I'm not telling that 99% of the people will have to go through this lifestyle shift, because entrepreneurship is, again, it's not like running a 100-meter dash and then getting a medal. So it's like a marathon, right? So it's going to take a lot of time. Have the patience before you start. So have this mindset basically before you start. And business can't be part-time. A lot of people say, oh, I'm working in shifts. I have about 4 or 5 hours idle every single day. You're physically idle 4 or 5 hours, but you're not mentally idle, right? For business, you need to have time to think about your business. Be it anywhere, but be it your sleeping time or your resting time. The moment you get a call, you should be available to handle those business queries from your
Right.
customers or from your employees. And these are all stakeholders in the business. So if you don't take care of them, then they will not take care of you, right?
Right.
So money is, I always tell this, money is the last problem to solve. If you feel money is the hurdle, never think about it. Money is never a hurdle if you want to start a business. So keep that aside and work on your idea. Make sure that you're building a scalable idea. So validate your idea before you launch. Spend a lot of time learning all of these steps. Like Guna launched this book called Startup Recipe. So like myself, I've launched these digital courses. Likewise, there are a lot of people who offer their learnings, their experience, right? Learn the fundamentals before you launch. You might think, why we need to spend money on this learning? Of course, there's no free lunch, right? If you look at the amount of learning that you get for the money that you pay, it's going to be exorbitant, phenomenal amount of learning that you're going to get, right? So learn before you launch. Select an idea that is scalable. Business can't be part-time, so you need to put your heart and soul into it, and it is a long-term game. And only when you feel that you want to start a business, please do that. Never do it for a lifestyle. If somebody tells you, okay, it looks rosy and the from the outside. And never do that. Only when you have a purpose, when your purpose tells, okay, I wanted to impact, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, do that. I'm not telling 9 to 6 job is not a crime at all. If you're feeling comfortable, if that is your reason for being, please do that. But once you decide that you want to start business, I think these four parameters you need to keep in mind before you start a business.
Superb, superb. I think our audience got great insights from this particular episode of your sharing your story and Chaikan's story and giving a lot of tips, etc. So thank you very much for being here and sharing your story in this episode of Startup Stories. And also thank you everyone for watching this. And I'm sure you would have learned a lot, especially how to start a food related business in this industry or a tea outlet for specifically, because he has shared a lot with the insights itself. You can start thinking about it. So thank you all for watching this episode of Startup Stories. Kindly do share this video to all the aspiring entrepreneurs so that they can also watch and learn. So thank you, Suresh, for
Thank
being in.
you. Thank you, Gunav, for the wonderful opportunity. You're doing an awesome job. You're helping a lot of entrepreneurs, lot of helping a lot of startups to start on their own, things like that. Wonderful. May your tribe grow more and more. Wishing you most and more in life.
Thank you,
All the
Suresh.
best. All the best.
Thank you, and I also wish to see Saikant all across Tamil Nadu and all the cities, and I'm sure it's going to happen with 6 to 7 coming in the next few months. Then it is going to add more in the next few years. So all the best for that
Thank you.
as
Thank
well.
you.
So thank you for being here. Thank you everyone for watching. I will see you in the next episode of Startup Stories with one another successful entrepreneur journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks.